Now, earlier this week, it was announced that Netflix had hired a vice president of their video game division, which kind of took some people a little bit off guard there, because if you've been paying attention, over the past couple of weeks and months, I think maybe even a year at this point, there have always been mumblings about Netflix wanting to get into the video game industry. There have been certain things licensed out. So, for example, the Dark Crystal TV show that they produced, they licensed out a video game adaptation, which came out to mixed reviews, to be honest. There was also a retro sort of iteration of Stranger Things, which I think all three seasons have received a port of, and that appeared, I think, first on app stores and then later progressed to consoles. And I remember playing that first one back in the day on my phone on the way back from work one time, and I thought it was fairly competent. Can't honestly say I played all of it or the rest of them, but there are these little inklings, and as well as there are choose your own adventure film projects they've done, like Bandersnatch from Black Mirror. Kimmy Schmidt had a version of it, and Bear Griffiths, I think I'm pronouncing that right. They've all had their own little choose your own adventures, so they're starting to inch themselves in there. But now they've went and hired a VP by the name of Mike Verdu, who used to work at Electronic Arts and Oculus. I'm a little bit, skeptical of any ex-Electronic Arts veteran. But no, it seems like they're fully planning on going ahead. Now, we're going to take a little look at an article from Forbes by Brad Agate, who wrote this on June 3rd, so that's a month and a half prior to this announcement of the hiring of Mr. Mike Verdu. So again, this is a bit of a retrospective article. We can just see how it kind of panned out in real time. So Brad writes this for Forbes. Just a little thing in advance. This is an extract of the article. If you want to read the full article, the link will be in the description down below. So have a little read of that if you want to delve a little bit further into this. But Brad writes, there have been reports Netflix is considering a launch of a video game service to expand their subscriber counts and provide a new revenue stream. Although video gaming has been around for decades, during the pandemic, the industry reported strong revenue growth, which is expected to continue in years ahead. Simply put, video gaming has become the fastest growing entertainment category, with revenues larger than the movie and music industries combined. A little bit more on that in a second. It has been widely reported Netflix is looking to hire an executive to manage their nascent video game plans. One possibility for a potential Netflix gaming initiative will be a reduced version of Apple Arcade, a subscription-based ad-free model consistent of exclusive, higher-end games. Video gaming content is expected to come both from Netflix-owned intellectual property and other independent studios. Netflix has in the past licensed to third-party developers, several based on their popular Stranger Things program. Netflix has also produced an interactive version of their series finale of the comedy The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, a Choose Your Own Adventure, which we've already discussed. Netflix has indicated a greater interest with the interactive entertainment. With the pandemic changing consumers' media behaviour, in 2020, video gaming had a record year with sales exceeding into 2021. Globally, in 2020, video gaming revenue totaled $167.9 billion. So that's just short of 170 billion worldwide across 2020. Now we'll pause the article here. I said I was going to come back to this, but I just went in good old Google and I had a look at movie box office revenue, just to compare the two industries. And in 2019, I wasn't going to use 2020 for obvious reasons, but in 2019, the year of Endgame, the one that keeps fluctuating with Avatar to be the biggest selling movie of all time, in 2019, the global box office was only 42.5 billion. Again, let's go back to the video game example. 168 billion, basically. Like that's over triple of what movies are worth. I mean, that doesn't take into account things like home rentals and DVD sales, but let's be honest, in the age of streaming, it's not going to be that much more. So yeah, like we'll come back to this at the end of the article. Continuing. Video gaming is especially popular with teens and young adults aged 14 to 24, which has helped to boost sales. According to the latest annual Digital Media Trends report from Deloitte, 26% of Generation Z listed video gaming as their most favourite entertainment activity, well ahead of listening to music, web browsing, social media, television and movies. Moreover, 46% of Generation Z said that video game playing has taken away from other entertainment sources. Netflix has cited such popular video games as Fortnite to be bigger competition than HBO. Netflix gaming plans are still reportedly in flux, but it's expected the video gaming venture could be launched as soon as 2022. Nevertheless, it will sure be a sure thing for Netflix. It will not be a sure thing for Netflix, my apologies. Google Stadia launched a cloud gaming platform in late 2019 and has not gained any traction. Also, Amazon recently said they have plans to launch Luna on a gaming platform, which is currently in beta testing. So again, you can read the full article over on Forbes, but yeah, it really kind of echoed a lot of what I was saying at the start there. It's undoubtedly that video gaming is the primary entertainment industry at this point. I mean, no one's ever going to argue against movies and television, etc. Now, that figure right out at global box office, as I said, it wouldn't count for merchandising, Blu-rays, but I think if you added all that up, it would still just fall short of what video games are operating at. And video games, you know, they have a lot of merchandise nowadays. If you want to buy replicas for cosplay or just action figurines, or even display models, you know, like your Hot Toys and things like that. So I think there is a lot of money still to be made in the video game industry. It's still a very infantile industry. I think when we see the big three, Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft, they're not going to be the big three forever. Things are going to change. Who knows, one day Sony could fall by the wayside and Netflix could be the next big one, because Netflix has a massive installer base to begin with. So if they start video gaming, they've got the strongest platform to jump off right there. Now, obviously, early days, I'm sure we'll look back on this video in a year's time and we'll see how it panned out, but there's no talk about how this is actually going to play out. Is it going to play through the Netflix app? If so, the Netflix app's available on so many devices. What will be the input? Will you be able to sync a controller? I know that the TV stick that we use for Netflix doesn't really have any compatibility for Bluetooth devices, so I think there is going to be some kind of restrictions on how you can access these gaming services. They probably will have simpler games, which is literally just a D-pad, a simple platform or something like that, something that anyone can play on any device, because let's face it, you need a D-pad to navigate Netflix, so it's an assumption that you will be able to play those kinds of games. But to play full-on game experiences, I think we will see a Netflix specific device of some sort, be it one of those HDMI dongles that just plugs into your television, or maybe just a little gaming block, you know, something along the lines of what these Raspberry Pis look like, really small black box that just sits nicely next to your television. So it will be interesting to see how this Netflix situation pans out. Again, hiring an ex-EA executive, don't know how that's quite going to go.